Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Got a massive slate tomorrow. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make NBA DFS content, NFL content, just a whole bunch of content. All these videos that get posted on this subreddit, I'll have this linked down below. We had a little three-game slate, so I know not everyone was around. People don't like to play these slates, but we got a giant slate tomorrow. I make updates with all the news that comes out throughout the day. You're definitely going to want to be over here. There's going to be a lot of news that comes, and what it changes about the slate super helpful because a lot some stuff does change from these videos, so that'll be linked down below. And then if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on X right there. All right, so I did not cash yesterday, so no need to recap that. Um, I will show you guys one of my lineups tonight. You guys know I don't sweat. I played this lineup, but it's not my main lineup. My main lineup has Victor Wembanyama, who is core for me. Giannis Antetokounmpo was also core for me. Julian Champagnie was also core for me. And then, I forget, Ayo Dosunmu, core play for me. So Wemby just killing my main lineup, but I do have this as a secondary lineup. So hopefully this does really well, so it doesn't really matter. I was really high on Anthony Edwards at low ownership. Clinging, I liked as a pivot off of Andre Jackson. That's not working out. Andre is doing pretty damn well. So hopefully that at least makes some money back for me. Yesterday, like I said, did not go well. I stone bubbled. But yeah, if you're looking for more in-depth content, on my Discord link down below where I give you guys player pools, cores, flag plants, and GPPs. Um, Sportsbook plays, prize picks plays. I'm already posting sportsbook plays for tomorrow. And yeah, let's just get into this. I think we have 11 games, guys, so it's going to be a little bit of a wild one. Andrew Nemhard, we have as probable. Aaron Nesmith going to continue to be out. T.J. McConnell is questionable. So, going up against Charlotte, I think, you're going to get starters, of course, of Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner, Benedict Mathurin, um, who am I missing? And Andrew Nemhard. He is probable. And they're running a decent rotation here. Halliburton should play massive minutes. Great spot going up against Charlotte. He's 8.1K. I don't think he'll be owned tomorrow. I think he's a good play at that price point. Siakam, I think I'd rather just play Halliburton, although Siakam has been a better point per minute guy this season. Miles Turner has a fantastic spot going up against Charlotte here. I mean, Charlotte's missing everyone. Great spot, 6.2K. I think he's a really good center play on the slate. Benedict Mathurin at 5.4K, just super safe. We know when Mathurin's out there, he's a guy that's going to chuck. He can grab some rebounds. He's going to play massive minutes. I don't mind him. I think he's solid. Andrew Nemhard will probably have better value opening up later. T.J. McConnell with Nesmith out should see a little bit more run, but we're going to have way better value. They're playing Jarace Walker off the bench a decent amount, but we're going to have better value opening up later. Alrighty. If T.J. McConnell's out, I mean, Halliburton's going to have to play a ton. Andrew Nemhard, he'll actually get backup point if T.J. McConnell's out. That would actually boost him quite a bit. So I wouldn't mind Nemhard if T.J. McConnell's out because he'll play that backup point. And when he gets point guard minutes, his rates go up a lot, right? Moving on to Charlotte here, we have Miles Bridges out, Brandon Miller probable, both the bigs out. So I would assume starters would just be LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Josh Green, Taj Gibson, and like a Grant Williams. They move like a Grant Williams into the starting lineup. And then you see more run for like a Saloon at 3K. He's bad point per minute. He was like 0.6 point per minute overseas. And I think that's mainly it. With that being said, with no Miles, there's a lot more usage to go around. First off, Brandon Miller, 6'3", should go back to his normal minutes here. He's going to have to take a ton more shots. He looks really solid at 6.3K to me. LaMelo Ball priced down now at 9.6K. I thought he was over 10K, but he's going to have to do a lot more. Stat sheet stuffer. Spot's fine. I think he's a really good spend up. Man at 5K is fine. If Grant Williams starts, I like him quite a bit for value. And then, yeah, you'll see more run for like a Saloon. But I was looking at his overseas stats. He's not anything crazy. You see more run for like Cody Martin as well. But mainly looking to like LaMelo, Brandon Miller here, possibly like a Grant Williams. Josh Green at 3.7 is okay, I guess, but we're going to have so much better value opening up later. And I'm going to see if any of these guys are like chalk. I'm sure you can find spots elsewhere. Moving on to Atlanta, okay spot going up against Detroit here. I mean, I took Trae Young props. Price point 10.4K probably seems about right, but I like the spot here quite a bit. She'll play big minutes. Atlanta ran a really tight rotation last game. They ran their starters into the ground, so of course I have interest in Trae Young. Jalen Johnson, good spot for him. She'll play close to 40 minutes. His potentials are way up. He has double-double upside. Nobody continues to play him. I really like Jalen Johnson in GPPs. Dyson Daniels is overpriced. They played Risher big minutes last game. Definitely a bit of an outlier. I think he's more so priced right. What do we have here? Capella, Congo will split the center minutes. Nance was DMP, I believe. And then I think that's it. I'm not getting to any of these values like a David Roddy or those type guys. Let's move on to Detroit. So Jalen Duren is doubtful. You should get Isaiah Stewart in the starting lineup, but then you should get Paul Reed back up 5, I would assume. So I think Isaiah Stewart stands out as one of the best value plays on the slate. He looks phenomenal to me. I love him. Paul Reed's firmly in play. He should get the backup 5. Malik Beasley's playing off the bench at 3.8. Like I said, I think we'll have better value. Same with like Tim Hardaway Jr. He's fine. But Isaiah Stewart, the mainstay out of here. I really like Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham in this spot. Great matchup going up against Atlanta. I think they're really good plays. Tobias Harris I actually like quite a bit. This Detroit team looks pretty damn good to me tomorrow. Moving on to the Pels, this is going to be a headache. Trey Murphy doubtful. DeJounte Murray out. CeeDee McCollum out. Herb Jones out. Zion Williamson is questionable. So if he's out, you should get starters of Brandon Ingram, Jose Alvarado, Missy, Brandon Boston Jr., and then one of Javonte Green, JRE would be my guess, would be the starters. Whoever starts would be a great value. I absolutely love Jose Alvarado if they're all out. Brandon Ingram looks phenomenal. Now, it's not the best spot going up against Orlando, but they're missing Paolo. Missy's a playable value. Brandon Boston I would really like. There'd just be a lot to like here if Zion's out. If Zion's in, it's going to be the Zion Brandon Ingram show. Both will be fine plays. Alvarado will be priced right. Missy, I think we have better value. And then if you want to get to like a Brandon Boston, I think it's okay. I don't mind that, but it would probably be off like Javonte Green, JRE, those type guys. Moving on to Orlando, so they're going to continue to be out with Paolo Banchero, Wanakar Jr. Goga Patatse at 5K. Got into foul trouble last game. Still went for 30 minutes. I believe Mo got into foul trouble as well. I think both bigs. Okay, no, he didn't. But I think they want to play Goga right now. And Goga, historically, has been a pretty good point-per-minute player. I think it's a good spot here going up against the Pels. There's a lot of good center value on the slate. I would say probably Isaiah Stewart looks a little bit better than me point per dollar, but I still think Goga's a pretty good play. Jalen Suggs deserves to be at this price point, if you ask me. He's going to play close to 40 minutes. He's doing a ton more ball handling right now. His potentials are way up. I think he deserves the price point. Fine spot there. Franz, they're going to be their two go-to guys. So both the top two guys look solid. De Silva's starting, but I think we'll have better value. You couldn't pay me to play Contavious Caldwell-Pope. Moving on to Brooklyn, so we have Ben Simmons back, so that's going to be a downgrade to Dennis Schroeder. I would say he's priced right. If I'm just playing one, I prefer Cam Thomas to Dennis Schroeder, even though Dennis Schroeder has outperformed him this year, fantasy-wise. Cam Johnson seems super safe to me, but no longer like a great play at this price point at 6.2K. And then, Ben Simmons is a fine value. She'll play low to mid-20s minutes. Statue stuffer. We know the drill, right? And then Dorian Finney-Smith is fine. If Clowney's out, that would be a bump to Dorian Finney-Smith as well. But 4.7K is, I think, priced right for him. All right, moving on to Boston. Brown out, Porzingis out, Luke Cornett. Keep an eye on this. Okay, he's doubtful. Sorry, I thought he was questionable at first. That's pretty big. Keta's going to have to play a ton of minutes. Like I said, there's a ton of good center value on the slate. So, like, Keta looks great to me. Al Horford at 5K. His minutes are going to be more secure. I think he's a decent value. The only downside is center only. Drew Holiday, far too cheap. Tatum, I think, is a really good spend up. Derek White gets a massive bump with Jaylen Brown out. He looks pretty good to me. So definitely, I don't think anyone's going to play any Boston tomorrow as well. So definitely do like this Boston team in GPPs. And with Cornett doubtful, it's going to be a significant bump to Keta. Moving on to the Warriors, we have Draymond and Podziemski questionable. If they are both out, my guess is probably just see Kuminga move back into the starting lineup, and they go with like Steph, Kuminga, Wiggins, Trace, Moses Moody. Also, if Draymond's out, Trace Jackson Davis should have to play a little bit more minutes. He could be sneaky in GPPs. The only issue is they're going to ride the hot hand. They still have bodies with those two out. They still have Steph 1, Buddy Hield 2, Kuminga 3, Wiggins 4, Trace 5, Moody 6, Kyle 7, Kevon Looney 8. Melton is questionable. He could be back. They have Lindy Waters, GP2. still have a ton of bodies, right? So they're still going to go with the hot hand with a lot of guys. I think, the main plays I'd be interested in here is like possibly a Trace Jackson Davis as like a sneaky play in GPPs. Kyle Anderson would have to play more. He'd be a fine value at 3.6K. And then, yeah, if Kuminga starts, like him at 6K, but like I said, they can always just go with the hot hand here. And then, like, some interest in Steph Curry and GPPs. Moving on to Cleveland, don't love much. I mean, Evan Mobley's role this year is a lot different. But, yeah, not loving too much here. I don't think we have to spend too much time here. I think my main favorite play is probably Donovan Mitchell since they're so close in price point. But I don't think there's anything amazing on Cleveland tomorrow, especially with Karis LeVert back. Moving on to Phoenix, we have Bradley Beal as probable. So you're going to get starters Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Yusuf Nurkic, and Tyus Jones. Fine spot going up against Dallas. I mean, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, they're always in play for GPPs to me, but when this team's healthy, they just eat into each other's usage so much. I will say Yusuf Nurkic has been phenomenal of late, and he has been playing around 30 minutes. So if you give him around 30 minutes at this price point, he is too cheap. Tyus is fine at 5.3K. I'm not going to go to any of the bench value there. Let's move on to Dallas. Peter Washington, Derek Lively going to continue to be out here. Means you should have more secure minutes for Daniel Gafford at 5-1. Kind of looks similar to like a Goga to me. Both good plays, very, very similar. Najee Marshall at 4.8, I would say is probably getting to the price, but still a decent value, playable value. And then always interested in Luka Doncic, right? I always think he's one of the best spend-ups on the board. And then Kyrie is playable as well if you wanted to pivot off. But Kyrie's been a lot more popular than Luka of late. Just due to the price point, Kyrie has been a bit too cheap. But yeah, main standouts here, Daniel Gafford, Luka Doncic, Najee Marshall's playable. And yeah, I think that's really it for Dallas. Let's move on to the last 5 games of the night. Milwaukee on a back-to-back here, so Giannis was questionable today. We'll see if he's on the injury report for tomorrow. If he is out, we know what to do, right? Dame looks phenomenal. Bobby Portis would still be a good play, even at 7K. They started Andre Jackson tonight. I'm not going to play Andre Jackson on this big of a slate. Today was just a complete outlier. Gary Trent got benched. I'm not going there. Brook, playable, but not really loving much. Mainly just Dame, Bobby Portis, and if Giannis is in. Giannis is a great spend up, but I don't think I'm getting to too much else here outside of Giannis. Moving on to New York, fantastic spot here for Jalen Brunson. I mean, if this is the spot to have a good game, I think it's just this one. And keep an eye on campaign news because that's pretty significant for Jalen Brunson as well. If campaign's out, Jalen Brunson just has to play a ton of minutes. I really like Jalen Brunson, even though the price point came up. Just such a good spot, and nobody's been playing him. So I'm pretty high on Jalen Brunson. Cat, I've always been high on. He's low on every single slate. I actually played him this slate. He was in my lineup that I bubbled with. I'm pretty high on him. Once again, he's playing massive minutes. Probably going to get you a double-double. Clearly a good scorer. Really like both the top 2 guys here. Josh Hart's just super safe. He's playing like 40 minutes a game, stat sheet stuffer. 6.7K, probably getting to where he should be in price point, but still in play. Mikhail's fine. OG's fine. No strong takes there. And I think Miles McBride is also getting to the price point to where he should be as well. All right, Washington's, they're just running their young guys into the ground here, and I love it. Like, they're playing Koulibaly a ton of minutes. They're playing Bub a ton of minutes. They're playing Keyshawn George a ton of minutes. I absolutely love what they're doing here. Jordan Poole at 7.9. I mean, he's going to have to do everything for this team. I really like Jordan Poole here. I think he's a really good play in the mid-range, one of the better plays in the mid-range. His role is a lot better. They actually have his position this year. So like Poole, Koulibaly's taking a massive step up here. He's playing close to 40 minutes. He's about a fantasy point per minute guy this year. Still like Koulibaly. Jonas, no thank you. With Bub and Keyshawn George at their current price points, I don't think they're musts like they were the slate prior, but they still are firmly in play. A little bit different at their price points, though, but still fine. And then I think that's it for Washington. It's fun to okay, here we go. John Moran out, Desmond Bain out, Marcus Smart out, Vince Williams out. So we do have John Contra questionable. Luke Kennard is back as well. So I'm intrigued to see what they do with the starting lineup here. So like Jaren Jackson Jr., Scottie Pippen are going to start. Santi Aldama is going to start. Zach Edey's going to start. Do they go with like? It's going to depend on Conchar, but like Luke Kennard in his first game back played 18 minutes. Do they just slide Luke Kennard in there? If Conchar comes back, they could start Conchar. They could even start like a Laravia as well. So I'm going to be interesting to see. I will say if Contrar's out, I really like Luke Kennard. I think Jalen Wells is fine at 6K. Santi Aldama, would much prefer Santi Aldama to Jalen Wells. I really like Santi Aldama. I love Scottie Pippen. Jaren Jackson Jr.'s minutes are upticking. He gets a massive bump with both those two guys off the court. He looks great to me. And then keep an eye on like Conchar news. They start like a Conchar, he would be a really good value if they start. And Luke Kennard would still be a good value off the bench if they start like a Luke Kennard and Conchar's out. I really like Luke Kennard. Laravia is going to have to play more. He's firmly in play. Just keep an eye on starters. Keep an eye on the Contra news. We're definitely going to have some Memphis value tomorrow. All right, moving on to Houston. Not the best spot going up against OKC, but when they don't troll Sengun's minutes, he nukes. So, yeah, always interested in Sengun in GPPs. He's always low owned. I always like me some Sengun, right? Double upside, good score. Always fine with him. Not loving too much else here, though. I think Jalen Green's priced right, Fred VanVleet's priced right. Same with Barry Smith. They're giving Tari Eason a little bit more run. Dylan Brooks' minutes have ticked down a little bit. Yeah, it's mainly just Sengun for me up top on Houston. Then we get to OKC. I think SGA is fine. I'm not saying he's a bad spend up, but I think there's other guys I'd rather play. I think, I'd rather play Tatum. I think I'd rather play Giannis. I think I'd rather play Luka. I think I'd rather play Jokic. You have cheaper guys here. So, yeah, I think he's firmly in play, just not my favorite spend up on the board, right? Chet Holmgren at 8-3, also kind of just indifferent on. Should play high 30s minutes as long as the game does stay competitive. Good shot blocker. I think he's decent. Now the price point has come down a little bit. J-Dub is priced right. I think it's close between the two. I just always slightly lean Chet. And then I don't think I'll be getting too much else here. Moving on to Miami. Great spot for Bam Adebayo. Now the price point has come down. If you want to pay up at center to be contrarian on this slate, I think that could be a little bit intriguing. I think everyone's going to go to those value centers like Keta, Isaiah Stewart, Goga, Daniel Gafford, those types, and then maybe go to like a Jokic as well. But if you want to pay up for like a Bam, I think Bam's pretty sneaky in this spot going up against Jokic. Tyler Hero is at 6.8K is playable. It's mainly just Bam Adebayo, I think my favorite play, and then some interest in Jimmy Butler at 7.5 as well. Moving on to Denver, it just depends on Jamal Murray news. Really, if Murray's out, Westbrook still looks like a really solid play at 6.6. Now getting to the price point where he should be, but still solid play. MPJ at 6.3, I like quite a bit, regardless if Murray plays. Jokic, I absolutely love at 11.8K. Braun's playing a ton of minutes, just super safe. Peyton Watson should start at 4.6. He's a decent value. And Strother is playable off the bench. Just keep it on the Murray news. And then Portland going up against Minnesota. Tough matchup. Both teams on back-to-backs here. Shaedon Sharpe, I would assume, sits tomorrow. It's his first game back tonight, but not too excited about anyone here for Portland, so we'll just move right along here. And then Minnesota, great spot here. I think, the value, we're going to have so much better value, but really like Anthony Edwards. I think Rudy Gobert is fine as well, but nothing crazy. I think Ant's my favorite play on Minnesota, so that's going to do it for the video, guys. Massive slate tomorrow, and I will talk to you in the next one.